not Michael.
Well, he will be shortly.
Well, we can wait for Mike to meet with Father Lawton for the worst of it.
Russell, I'm his mother. I'm here. You can tell me the worst of it.
Well, pending further investigation, Brandon's suspended. Of course, indefinitely. And he's off the team. We're saying that's indefinite, but it's permanent.
Yeah, I imagined.
And that lawyer you mentioned last time, I will get in touch with him.
Michael and I did already. Jim Shannon, you know him, right? Class of 58?
I do. He's good.
Okay, and he's dealt with these types of messes before?
I believe so.
We're meeting him tomorrow morning.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Liz, I had to notify Dartmouth.
You did?
If it came out that the school knew and chose not to inform me,
I understand.
in any case, Dartmouth is reconsidering Brandon's acceptance.
Jesus Christ.
Liz, look, it could be a lot worse.
Oh, how? How could it be worse?
That girl could potentially bring charges against Brandon or the school, but she hasn't done that yet. Because Brandon's not 18, the news and the papers can't release his name, if it comes to that.
Russ, they will crucify him if they can, even though he is at heart a good kid. I believe that. I need to believe that. He essentially made one mistake. It's not like he's like those other boys.
What other boys, Liz, are you talking about?
Look, Russ, Michael and Brandon, they were talking a few months ago about some boy who was raving about a performance he gave in the showers in the locker room.
Performance?
Apparently, Michael told me afterwards that this boy brought his girlfriend into the showers after one of the games and had sex with her there to celebrate the win.
In our shower room?
Yes. And after it was over, it was even referenced, obliquely, of course, during the morning announcement, so that the whole school, including especially all the boys, would know what had happened.
Liz, what I would say to that is, there is talk and there's truth, and the two don't always necessarily overlap.
Of course, but we both know. You know St. Joe's has a history and a reputation.
Reputation for what?
Oh, come on, Russ. For instance, Maddie said the boys at the boys' school rate the girls on a scale from 1 to 10.
Oh, you come on. Did you do the same thing in your diary back in high school? Which boys were the most handsome, the cutest?
Russ, they're rating them on their willingness and ability to perform oral sex, which I certainly didn't keep track of in a diary. I didn't even have a diary.
Okay.
And you know, they have like contests. Are you aware of this? What girls are willing to service them?
None of which, I'm sorry, Liz, but none of that has anything to do with your son.
Well, for me, it does. Russ, I have been agonizing. I'm trying to think of ways in which what he did will be considered forgivable. And you know what? There aren't any, unless he were part of some culture that glorifies this kind of behavior.
No one at St. Joseph's is glorifying what Brandon did, Liz. Jeez. Do you want the truth? Yes, it happens. That behavior, we try to control it, rein it in, but they're boys, they're young men. It happens anyway. It's been happening since St. Joe's opened its doors. Hell, it was happening when Mikey and I were in school. And the Jesuits back then, when they really ran St. Joe's, they were vicious. They didn't care about us, and the lay teachers and the staff too. We weren't even human to them. Transgressions occurred, and people didn't even bother to look away. They just stared right at them and didn't even blink. Did Mike ever tell you about Andy Monks and Jeff Albertson?
I don't think so.
They were seniors when Mikey and I were freshmen, and they were excellent athletes, Liz. I mean, superlative athletes. Almost exactly evenly matched. And our coach at the time, this guy...
Oh, John Fagan?
Yeah, Fagan. He was great with us. He was everything he should have been, except in this one instance. Fagan couldn't decide who should be captain between Andy and Jeff, and they were both qualified and wanted it. They both worked really hard for it, and they both knew what being captain would mean.
Yeah, in the St. Joe's hierarchy.
Yeah, and for the rest of their lives, Liz. Something like that. Granted, back then more than now, but even now. An honor like that, how can I explain this? It sets you up a certain way. It prepares you for challenges down the line. Believe me, people start to look at you differently. Doors start opening one after the other.
Okay, so how did he end up choosing?
Fagan brought Andy and Jeff into his office. This very office, as a matter of fact. And he told them that they had to decide. That they had to work it out themselves. Then come to Fagan the next day and tell him who the new captain would be.
In other words, let them kill each other for it.
Yeah. They wrestled, fought for it. And we all knew about the contest. Students, teachers, everyone. But no one tried to stop it. So they fought. And Jeff won. And to prove that he won, that he was the better captain, the more powerful man, just so there wouldn't be any question whatsoever.
I don't want to hear what that boy did.
Well, afterwards, after Jeff did what he did to Andy, Fagan made Jeff captain. And Andy didn't even play. And he was good. As skilled a player as Jeff, just not as
ruthless. You know, that is horrific. How incredibly irresponsible of Fagan.
It is. It was. But can I tell you, things here have gotten better, Liz. And they'll keep getting better. But, you know, sometimes a tree doesn't grow the way it should, doesn't develop properly. It twists and it turns and it knots and sometimes it's the soil, what did you call it?
The culture?
Yeah, the culture. But don't delude yourself. It's also the boys, the individual boys who are responsible.
Like that boy Jeff Albertson?
Yes, like Jeff Albertson.
You know, it's weird. I knew almost all of Michael's friends. I don't remember him.
You would. Like I said, he was older.
But you and Michael were on the football team together, right, Russ?
Every year, side by side.
Except senior year when Michael was captain.
That's right. You're right, I broke my arm just before the season started.
How, Russ? How did you break it? In a fight?
Do you really want me to answer that question, Elizabeth?
You know, all of this, calling me in here, not calling Michael, who could have made this go away with a phone call. All of this because of something that Michael did to you. Not Jeff to Andy, but Michael to you?
I was trying to help Brandon, to help your family.
Were you?
You could blame me, you could blame the school, but everything your son has done, every misstep he's taken, all belongs to Brandon.
Russ, I am fighting for my son's future here. His life, everything.
You are. Yes, you are.